Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this clip, I would like to take you inside the important content details of the fluid, that is the temperature. So first, we would like to set that thing to the back to the first frame, and there's a lot of animation stuff over here. So we again would like to put the disable evaluations. We need to put a lot of keys over here. Okay. So in case of the temperature, we would like to increase the temperature scale to, let's say, 2.5, and the buoyancy also, let's say we wanted to put 1 for first frame, and from 1 till, let's say, maximum 10 frame, we would like to increase the value to, let's say, 125. Okay, and that's quite high. And also do remember the fact that this values of the buoyancy is being getting multiplied with the temperature scale. So now the buoyancy will going to be read more than 250. Okay, so that's a very important thing. And one more important thing is that now the pressure and the pressure threshold. Well, as you know that in the explosion there is always a kind of, you can say, the outward force, okay, that drives the overall impact of the explosions and the reactions. So we also do require to play around with the pressure as well as the pressure threshold. So the pressure cannot be the constant value for throughout the frames, otherwise it will going to make the fluids totally unstable. So if you would like to utilize this, let's say we put a key over here, and let's say from 1 to frame 3 you would like to put the value to the 6, and then from 3 to the 6, let's say you would like to get that thing back to the 0. Okay, and pressure threshold you may also could recall from the density attribute. This is actually the minimum temperature that fluid requires to take a burst. So I would like to put that thing to point, let's say 35, or I think so. Yeah, I think so. 0.035 would be a good match. And we could also come back and then again play with these values, because if you think so that the fluids are been getting a little unstable in the beginning part of the explosion, you may could going to increase the pressure thresholds. Okay, so that's pretty much okay. And yes, we also do like to end the values of the temperature, so otherwise it'll keep on and that's actually not possible. Once the explosion effect took place, it definitely has to be cooled down once it reaches to the top zones of the air. So the dissipation will like to set it to the 1, and as far as the diffusion is concerned, which is actually, you can say, the values of the voxels that get spreads. So the dissipation value will like to set it to the 0.050, and remember that it will going to be the multiplier of temperature scale. That's pretty much okay. And when it comes to the turbulence, which will going to affect the overall velocity of the fluid through the temperature, so I'd like to say, let's say 6 would be a good start, and then we'd like to come back to the noise, which will going to randomize the overall voxels of the temperature. So let's say 0.35, and there's a very important attribute that is called as, again, the tension. So the tension will going to bring that kind of stringiness, or you could say the impact of the burning fire inside the simulation. So I'd like to put the value of, let's say, 1, which is quite high, because it will going to get multiplied with the temperature scale. And I think so that's quite enough. We'd like to take a look at that, what we have actually achieved. So if you like to play the flame, and now you can see that yes, definitely some stuff is being getting a little bit more better and better, and we are actually being getting progress towards our reaction. That's pretty much great. And did you notice that in the beginning sections, if just note it down a little carefully, once you play the time, and here you can see that there's a kind of outburst, and it's been getting expand. So this is just because of the pressure. Well, let's say if you increase the value of 1, you're going to experience that the pressure will going to be little less. I mean, the expansion of the fluid will going to be little less, and that is that is totally, you could say, the artistic part of the overall reaction. So if I guess the most stable value would going to be 0.5. So you're totally feel free to experience, or you may could say explore the pressure threshold value, because that's totally important also. And if you use little less value, let's say 0.1, and what if in case you would like to reduce the value of the pressure threshold to, let's say, 0.1, just notice very carefully that it will going to make the fluids totally unstable. So if I'm gonna play the timeline, notice that how much the fluids have been getting wasted in the expansions, and it just seems to be like that there's a kind of a missing fluids, or maybe you could say the fluids are not being getting properly evaluated. So just because the pressure is a way too much high. So for that, we would like to increase the values of the pressure threshold so that the voxels whose temperature values is above zero point 0.5, only those voxels would like to take the impact of the expansions, and that is, I think so, quite stable. And some few more clicks, we will be completely done with the section of the explosion. So that's quite good, not a problem. We do have a lot more to discuss, and we are actually at a very low resolution, so 60 is very basic, very less resolution, so we'd definitely like to increase that thing. So I would like to pause this video, and I would like to take a pause from this clip, and would like to take you to the next clip where we would like to work upon the fuel.